welcome to the Skew Ninja plus WhyteSpyder video podcast. And
Live from the Spider Bus.
live from the Spider Bus, and let's see, what is today? Tuesday.
I don't know, whatever. We
There
don't
we go.
put dates
Cheers.
on it,
we don't
right?
we don't put dates so we can be timeless.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm not taking a sip. It's day with water.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Mine's great.
So
I'm sure yours is great.
who we have with us today? You remember probably Brooke, McNeely, CMO, WhyteSpyder,
Yep.
and then we have
David Thomas, content manager of WhyteSpyder.
boom. There we go.
Me.
Yeah, I just wanted you to be able to speak
Yeah,
first.
sure.
Because
Okay.
Brooke's already been talking too much
Already.
in the last
I
video.
know.
So what do we want to chat about today?
Today, we are going to talk about the advantages of being a startup.
Oh.
Since you've already kind of talked about this when you were at
Yes.
the Global Summit, the Consumer Goods Forum Global Summit last week. And we just kind of want to talk about what are some of the advantages of being a startup. I know you talked about the spirit of a startup, but what about some of the advantages? Like, why would somebody want to bring this startup culture into their company?
Can we let David answer first? I'm curious to see what David thinks. Right off the
That
bat.
would be exciting.
That'd be
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
I love the flexibility and the I mean, we get to make our own rules,
Yep.
like just decide what goes. Not we necessarily, you, I guess.
Me with
our
you.
fearless leaders. I don't know.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a lot more flexible. To be honest, I've mainly worked in a startup. I started here right out of college, so we've kind of been leaning more into the startup culture now as we are sort of shifting what we do with our company. So I love our new location is awesome, and we get to kind of just work at our own pace, work in our own environment, whatever environment suits us. We have sort of a lot of different people at the company that kind of like to work a lot of different ways, and we kind of just are flexible to let everybody do kind of their own thing, and as long as everybody's getting along and getting stuff done, then everything's cool. We do a lot of fun stuff together. We chat and
Pokemon.
just play Pokemon Go,
Yeah.
take walks
Pokemon
around.
Go.
Not all day though,
Springville.
right?
I mean, you can take a break. It's good to take a break every once in a while. Go for a walk down Emma Street, Pokemon Go for a bit,
Hear the train track?
and watch the trains go by.
Is Pokemon on the train track ever?
No,
I mean, there could be. Yeah,
There could
it's
be a
kinda
Pokemon.
random. Yeah,
I've never
it's not
seen
like
one on
a-
the train track. They do try to.
So I guess an advantage from your standpoint, David, is flexibility,
Sure.
right? Being able to, because we can set our own rules, and I think part of that is being able to set your rules soon, like really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Right, we don't have to go through some big process, bunch of different opinions. I mean, it's really, hey, this would be cool. Then we talk about it real quick, and then we can pass down the new standard or
Yeah.
whatever.
And there's a lot of flexibility in like the day-to-day like work environment for each of us individually as a person working at WhyteSpyder. But another great thing about the flexibility that I've heard you talk about a lot is like not just flexibility for each of us individually, but the company as a whole is flexible.
Right.
What we do, our services, our initiatives, what we do is flexible, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that, what we hit on a lot in our staff meetings is just the industry that we're in, technology, retail, content, all those wonderful things, search engines, et cetera. That's it's a very evolutionary industry.
Always changing.
Always changing, so we're kind of have an environment that allows you to kind of always change too. I mean, you can change your work location, your environment. If you want to be somewhere, like we have it's funny in our office right now, like I'm on, I guess, /sales marketing team, and we're loud, outgoing.
Sales. That's your job, is to talk to people.
Yeah.
And say with marketing, we like to be personable and loud.
That's
and
right.
larger than life.
We're just nice people.
We are. We just want to
Right.
talk to everybody.
That's right.
And sometimes people don't want to talk to us.
Why don't they want to talk to us?
I don't know.
either. They want to put like a glass wall between the front and the back and push all the talking people up front.
The front, so they can go up there and talk, and then the people that need to get real work done
Yeah,
can get their work done.
that's right. And so
And then we will have to slack them instead of talk to them.
That's
Which is
Yeah.
what I do anyway.
yeah, and that's the fun part about, being kind of that in startup type culture is the ability to, first of all, to have an open office environment and everybody get in there and then trying to adjust, and you start finding out pieces of everyone's personality, and they can kind of bring about issues or concerns that they have, and we can react to those, right? Because we did move into a box, and it's kind of
This
like,
is the box
it's
next
like
to
here's
the
the
bus.
box, here's your desk.
one room essentially
Yeah,
in the entire building. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, now what? Instead of like, imagine having a larger company, there'd be so much more planning and so much more, just all kinds of things that need to be addressed before you move, and whereas we didn't do that at all.
Yeah, and it's kind of just a changed and evolved
Yeah.
over time over the last 3 weeks.
I was actually on vacation
Yeah.
when you
That's
moved,
right.
which was great.
We had a
I
desk
had a
ready
lot
for
of
you.
stuff.
We thought about you. We had a
Thanks.
desk ready. Yeah, you're
I
welcome.
didn't. I was on vacation.
Yeah, that's right. So I think another advantage is speed. When y'all agree.
Yeah.
I mean, even like this podcast, like when did we come up with this idea? It was kind of like a week and a half ago.
Maybe. I think last week.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Made the decision, did a little bit of quick research, right? And I think that we have at least a foundational amount of understanding, I mean, especially you're in on the technical capabilities of video and audio and stuff. Asked you a few questions. I did some research and I just bought some stuff.
Yeah, and then we had it set up Friday.
Got it set up Friday and start videoing on yesterday, first day, Monday, and then today, right?
And
so
now we're going to start publishing.
that's right.
Yeah.
Like now.
That's right. Start publishing, and so just being fast to when we go to the Global Consumer Goods Forum, we find some partners, and now we're able to kind of really, reach out to them and help to share our knowledge and link up with them and things like that.
Yeah.
So
And it's
meet them move quickly.
And it's not just in the marketing sales side. It's our entire company. We have different people with different skill sets. Just like Brooke is great at the technical aspects of stuff. We have great programmers, great like customer service representatives, and they are really able to use that expertise to take an idea like you guys had with the podcast and turn it around really quickly into something that we can start talking about with people and get on the market, right?
Yeah, and I'd say from my perspective, especially in the last 2 years, I mean, our company has evolved tremendously. And I used to say changed, but it's really evolution. Change can have like a negative type feeling for it. I mean, I think everybody gets a little, concerned about change, but really it's evolution keeps us actually more secure and safe. Because if we hadn't evolved from 3 years ago or 2 years ago, or even last year, I mean, we would, you just wouldn't have the same amount of opportunities. And because I think over time, what's actually happened is that we have now every individual within the company has an expectation of evolution. And so every time that we have to we graduate, that it's pretty quick, and it's somewhat well received. It's always well received, but it's not as challenging as it used to be and there's not that concern of evolution. Yeah. Hopefully, at least that's what I'm experiencing.
And all of our evolutions are based around, like finding solutions. That's right. Finding solutions for, all of our clients and our customers and everything like that. So it's a lot easier to get behind it when it's making stuff better.
That's right. That's right, because we will go to meetings, have conversations with clients, or we start digging in with our technology development, and we find, hey, it would be neat if we added this to it. It would make that even, would multiply the value of that tool we already created just by doing a couple of things, right? And so, David, I'd like to ask you another question. Sorry, Brooke, we're ignoring you during this entire video podcast.
I see how it is. I just talk when I want.
That's right.
Like, I don't need questions.
True.
I'm just going to tell you.
That's right.
That's fine. It's fine.
So from your perspective, like you've been here for what? How long has it been now?
Probably two and a half, almost 3.
Almost 3 years, and you definitely have experience. And this being, one of your first, jobs out of school. Yeah. This is a really unique experience for you versus what I think a lot of other folks would go through, which is going to a little bigger of a corporate environment. But I mean, how do you feel from your career path that this has been beneficial for you to be part of this organization?
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say when we were talking about how much we change and grow over time, a cool part of that is that each person here basically has seen it change and grow. They kind of have the perspective of where we were, the good parts and problems about that, and the solutions, how it's really, like you said, it's like a series of solutions. Like there's a reason for everything. We don't just change and evolve just to change, So we get to understand the reasoning of how we got to where we are. So, I mean, me being here so long, I feel like I have gotten to see the company grow, grow and change because I have. And I've gotten to be a part, since we are a smaller team, I've gotten to be a part of the changes. I've at least had to have some level of input, and I've listened and asked questions and like tried to understand everything. I'm not on the sales end or the development end, so I'm kind of, a lot of my place has been like boots on the ground, so I've been seeing how the solutions get put into action, know. So I get to see like I said, I get to see the reason for everything that we've changed and evolved through. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. And I think that, when you're talking about, you said something about the problems and or challenges that we've had, we tend to, as workers, leaders, whatever, whatever position we might have within a company, have a lofty perspective of, when we say startup mentality, or even thinking about big corporations. I mean, we always just, our mind goes straight to the wonderful things about the grass greener on the other side,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
But the reality to it is I think every business, and every company, every group of people have challenges. And we have unique challenges, at our, within our organization, just like everywhere else. And I think that, Brooke, from your perspective, I mean, what do you think, like backing up to your original question, what advantage do we have as a startup in just business challenges in general? Like maybe versus like bigger corporation. Like, so every business has challenges, but because we're a startup or because we have a startup culture, what advantage does that give us versus maybe a bigger organization?
We can be really agile. We can adapt quickly. I think those are like two of the biggest things that makes a startup an advantage, and that's why the like challenger brands can come in and win, and that's why startups can really come in and change a lot of things and innovate things, because they're just they can be so fast. They can be agile. They can they adapt well, and then they're also just really close to what they're doing, and so their fingers on the pulse of what's really going on, and so they really know what, like, especially like what they're focused in. They understand it, and then can just, they can see the changes before they're happening and then change quickly.
And that makes me think too, from at least my experience, with other organizations that were bigger than where we are today. Our company has been bigger than what it is today, and I think that, bigger companies obviously have more people. Typically, is what we would classify as a bigger organization. And I know that what an advantage that we'd have at our size, or a startup culture size, first of all, the number of people you have within the company allows you to be, quote unquote, a startup culture. Like, I mean, I really feel like that if you, at least in my experience, even with other companies, if you get past 25, 20 people, I mean, you really kind of start getting out of this startup mentality.
Sure, you're not talking to everybody every day.
That's right.
You're not,
That's exactly
kind of
right.
don't know what, I've heard you say before, don't know what the other hand's doing,
Yeah. Don't know what the other hand's doing. You don't know what other people are feeling. I mean, I've walked in the office and, I've seen you, and I've seen you, and I've seen about everybody in the company, that just like you're just kind of going through your challenges, as an individual, because of the company dynamics or because of challenges within the business, your work or whatever it might be. And you don't get to see that when the company gets over a certain number of folks, right? And I think that part of the startup advantage is that the leadership, from entry level to, new hires to tenured folks, we can all sense and see, kind of each other as an individual, and be able to kind of have that intuitive reaction and understanding that we're going through something, and then you can, and to me, it's asking that question, you doing okay? I've done that with you before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brooke, how you doing? You're like, fine. I'm like, no, seriously. How are you? And I think that once you get to a certain size, you just can't, it's just difficult to see people on an individual basis. And once you get that, then you start having to build structure so that you can hopefully reach to people, and that's, and once you're over that threshold, I think it gets more difficult, which at that point you start losing that ability to be agile, to adapt, to evolve really quickly.
Yeah.
And make decisions to help those that are having challenges, including, myself, right? So I think that that's a key advantage from my perspective.
Yeah. No one's on an island.
Man, that's good. And what do you mean by that? I mean,
because you sometimes so many people feel like they're just alone and nobody else understands what they're going through, and especially in a company like this, like it's like you don't have to feel that way. You just have to speak up, and we'll all come in and be like, all right, let's talk through this. Let's find the solution.
Yeah, and we can in the kind of if somebody is in need or they have personal Right. I mean, let's be honest. You know, we work together. You know, and I mean, it's important about how I perform at work, you and everybody else, right? I mean, but we all have personal lives, you know,
Yeah.
and our personal lives are affecting how we can work, you know, and how we work affects our personal lives. It's not really two different places. And if somebody's, I mean, I've experienced that 100 times, you know, in my career at WhyteSpyder, is just other people going through personal things that make it hard and difficult to focus at work, and how can we help each other out? And it just becomes a little bit. And I know in a big organization you can have that, but with the startup mentality and with the size, that like the whole company can kind of get behind that person and support, you know, and okay, they're not here, they're not able to perform because of these reasons, and it's okay, you know, and we carry each other a little bit faster at least, you know, which is a good thing.
All right. I think we have talked about startups a good amount, and I think it's time to sign off.
I think you're just hot,
It's not true.
and because we don't have the AC
I was like,
on.
I'm so stuck to this seat. Like, someone, I don't even want to see what it's going to look like when I turn
I
this
mean,
shit
I
up.
had like 20 more.
Turn this camera
I have
off.
20 more points I want to make about startup. I mean, can you just sit tight and just?
I mean, I can't. I'm stuck to the seat.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh
So,
my God.
signing off.
Sign off. That was good.
Good stuff. Thanks, D. Thanks, B.
Yeah.